Yo, and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector. Happy Thursday to everybody. You know, no matter how long I'm in this hobby, you can always be humbled. You can always have lessons to learn. There's always something to learn. You can always get duped. You can always get these things. I'm going to go over something in a minute where the fault is on me. And hopefully you guys can learn a lesson and maybe learn from me kind of what to do, what not. Sometimes you learn what to do from me, and today might be a case of where you learn what not to do from me. But you know, I'm in just working, like right there's the box right there. There's another one over there of all of these old commons, these vintage commons from a collection we are consigning for Chasing Cardboard. We did a bunch of filming there, and now we're, you know, it's funny, you go and you acquire all this stuff, or you either acquire it, consign it, whatever, then you got to get rid of it, and it's a lot of work. Like, I'm right now cataloging all the cards. There's, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 vintage cards. I've already sold quite a bit to help some people, but it's just a pain in the rear, honestly, but necessary evil. Like that, I'm not really complaining, but I did, as I was just thumbing through these, you know, kind of cataloging all of them, I found a couple of nice, I'm like, whoa, we thought we went through everything and pulled out all the stuff that we wanted to submit for grading and all of that. Well, turns out I found a couple more that don't, and I want to go through that with you guys in a minute once I flip the camera around. The last thing I want to mention is earlier this week on the Fly, I mentioned some people watch On the Fly. Not everybody does that watches Baseball Collector, but I wanted to mention that we talked about that I'm going to be taking another mission trip sometime, you know, in the fall / early winter, and I'm going to Cuba. This will be my 4th or 5th time to go to Cuba. Can't remember. Great people. They're baseball crazy down there and soccer crazy. Like most of Latin America, but they're really baseball crazy too. And tons of major leaguers are from Cuba. And I asked on the Fly episode, anybody has any Cuban player cards that I could take down, give away to kids. I'll film myself doing it. The interaction will be kind of fun for you guys to see that kind of interaction and see how cool. Most of them have probably never even seen a baseball card or don't even know what it is. Well, let me tell you that the outpouring of support for that is insane. Everybody that sent me emails and everything, I appreciate it. Like, I'm kind of like, okay, I got enough. Like, I got enough coming to me, I should say. I don't have any of the cards in hand yet, but everybody that said what they're sending, like, I think I'm going to have enough to give away. And I can't take a whole suitcase down there of baseball cards. That'd be really cool though. But anyway, it's going to be awesome, and I really appreciate everybody's support for that. Really cool. So let's get on the other side of this, because I got some more fun stuff to talk about, including a couple of great pickups. Hang on. All right, let's start with the pickups first, because that's cool stuff. Like everything, it's all cool. So these were bought JT. I swear it's like I get to go to a card show all the time, because JT is always looking out for me and looking for stuff that I might like. This is a 5-star Golden Grass. Normally I like the 5 stars to be the just base autograph, but pretty much anything Adrian Beltre, JT knows I'm a sucker for, so we worked out a deal for this. He basically just bought it for me. That's numbered to 20. That's the blue Golden Grass, so those are really cool. I like the gold ink with the gold of the 5-star, like that works. But yeah, very cool. And then he found this. This is the 93 Leaf Frank Thomas autograph, and this is one of the autographs that's on my 50 greatest autographs of all time. When I did that video, everybody's like, "Oh, I bet you have all of those." I'm like, not even close. Like, but I was able to get this finally. JT saw it. It is numbered to 3,500. So this was a pack inserted autograph back in 1993. God, what's that going on? 30 years almost. Jeez. So really hard pull at the time. So super glad to add this to the collection and just to have that as one of the top 50. I'm kind of, as I see them, I'm kind of getting them. You know, when you do a list like that, you kind of got to put your money where your mouth is. If you think it's so great, why don't you own it? Well, I'd own all of them if I could afford all of them. But yeah, that's a great one. Glad to have that. And then the two cards that I found that when I was just kind of going through and inventorying this collection we found, I was going through the 56 tops, and there was a nice Sandy Koufax. None of these are like perfect. Like the 61s and 60s are really sharp, but all the other years, you know, you could tell a kid had these. You know, these were cards he got as a kid, but this is nice. I mean, it's reasonably well centered. What's great about all these, like there are no creases on these cards. Like this is super clean. Like look at that back. I mean, a little bit of schmegma down there, but overall great card of Sandy Koufax. And so what the debate is that me and Ty are kicking around is, do we send this to SGC? Do we send it to PSA? And I thought that the disparity between PSA and SGC, especially now, we get kind of a bulk rate with SGC, and then there's the, you know, $22 special, cards up to $199. Ironically, this card sells for around $200, $225, $250 in like a 3. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I always like to undergrade my cards. Like, okay, that's a 3. And if it comes back a 4, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But because of the surface and everything, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a little higher, but I'm calling this a 3, and I'm pricing it in my own brain as a 3. And SGC, PSA, both are about the same cost in terms of what they go for online. So the reality is I'd rather, if right now, if price is pretty similar, which it is, it's like within $1 of what we can do with PSA and what we can do with SGC per card, I'd rather get this one back faster, i.e. send it to SGC. And then, you know, we get it back quicker and can turn it around, right? So that's the Koufax. I'll put that back here. Super cool card. Great card. And then I was thumbing through the 54 tops, and I found this sucker. This one's really well centered. All of them, the corners, especially this top right corner, is certainly dinged up. But again, the surface, there's no snow on this card, no creases. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. And look how clean the back is. Like, it's gorgeous. And so, like, we just missed this one when we were going through stuff the first 3 times. It's weird. No matter how many times you go through cards, you still, whoa, I didn't know that was in there. This one, it does make a difference. Again, I'm grading this one a 3. Could it be a 3.5 because of the centering and the color and everything? Maybe. The corners are going to bring it down. But so let's say it's a 3. SGC 3s sell for about $450. PSA 3s about $600. So there is a pretty significant. And then you have to wonder, well, can you even get the bulk rate on this card because they would upcharge you? Then does it make a difference? Well, if they charge me $50 instead of, you know, 22 or whatever, that's fine. That still makes it worth it to send it to PSA. So you always try to sneak cards in. If they upcharge you, they upcharge you. You know, that's kind of the way we look at it. So there's the Jackie. Like, how cool is that card? Okay, I told you guys, I'll put Jackie by Jackie over here. Jackie can just sit there while I talk about my blunder. It's funny, again, like I said, experience matters, but it doesn't completely insulate you from kind of goofing up every once in a while. So I bought this, and shame on me. Like, this was, I put this in I'd just seen it, and there was a picture like this, and I put it in my watch list, and I just kind of sat it there because I wanted this Grand Champions Ted Williams signed for my Dick Perez, you know, monster run. And it just sat in my watch list forever. I just let it sit there. And then the guy sent me an offer for it, and it felt like, oh my gosh, that's pretty, I'm not going to find it any cheaper than that. So I just bought it. And then I got it, and I'm like, well, son of a gun. It's not really even the card. In fact, this is just a piece of paper. Somebody printed out an image of this card and had Ted Williams sign it. There's no authentication. It looks good to me. The Ted Williams autograph does. But in terms of it being what I really want, the Donruss Grand Champions 1984, it's not that. It's just a printout of that. So what sucks about it is the guy had the picture of the back. Like if I would have just scrolled over, I would have seen that the back is not printed. It's not actually a card. And the dude put in the description that it was like a piece of paper. Like it was just a paper print of this, that it's not the actual card. And I'm like, I had read the description, but I guess I just didn't. I was so excited about the price that I just, yes, buy it. Now look, it was $150. Not that that's, cheap, but it's not, it's not going to devastate my life. And I think it's a real Ted Williams autograph, so that alone has some value. But the lesson to be learned here is, even guys that do this a lot, like me, can get either over exuberant, not doing my due diligence, not really paying attention, and you just buy something. And I would hope that other guys can sympathize with me that they've done that. Maybe tell a story down below in the comments of times that you've kind of, oops, And ironically, I have multiple scenarios of that happening over my decades in the hobby, but this is the most recent one. This literally just happened. Now I am going to send this off to PSA DNA because I do think it is an authentic Ted Williams autograph. And so at least I can get it slabbed and then maybe resell it or do something with it. Because I want the actual card. And maybe it shouldn't matter. I don't know. It looks just like the card. So anywho, that is what I did. Lesson learned. It's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. And I learned something from this one. So we'll catch you guys soon. Hope you have a good one. Keep collecting.